My first question is about the ideation process and how to select an idea that you will follow on. Do you have any advices to select ideas and to increase creativity within an organization and select the most promising opportunities?
I will talk about a little bit how we do it at Telemis.
Yes.
First, I have to tell a little bit of history about Telemis because the company is 10 years old, and you might think that we have ideas every day and we just do new software every day, but that's not how it's going, and that's not how it started. So we started Telemis 10 years ago, and we were coming from a university background. So at first, we spent a few years getting those ideas we had about image compression, medical image distribution, data security. They were doing all those steps at the university, and we had to work a few years to bring all those competencies together. And then as more and more users, in our case doctors, are using the product, you begin to get a lot of feedbacks on your software, and so they ask for improvements and a lot of improvements. So innovation, even if we shouldn't really talk about innovation in that case, is clearly customer driven, and we'll talk about it later too. It has its benefits because it comes from the customers, but also it's kind of not enough. Because you have to force yourself not to always listen to your customers and do all those improvements. Otherwise, you don't take any time for yourself to think about innovation as well. But that was the first years of Telemis. First, bringing all the competencies together and build a great product, and then improve it based on customers' feedback. Then. We in the last few years, at Telomere, we really wanted to invest more in R&D, and we defined our own innovation cycle. And the goal was to talk about it, to put this on paper, to share it with a different person, to get feedback from our board on this innovation cycle. And our idea was to do it in three parts. The first part is to generate ideas. The second part is to funnel those ideas, and the third is to prototype those ideas. So the first part is really how to get as many ideas as possible in our funnel. And for us, there are two ways to do that. One way is the day-to-day. You have to be open, and you have to encourage all your team to listen, to share with customers and with every people you might know. That is very important, and you really have to encourage that. And then there is the second type of generation of ideas, what we call the planned type, or something that has to do with a process, is all the things that you think you should do, but you never do them because they're not planned in your calendar, so you don't have the time. So it's going to next year, and so you don't do that. And those are company brainstorming. It's kind of easy to say, okay, we want to do a company brainstorming each year with everyone at the company, but if you don't plan it, you don't do it. Taking the R&D team, move those people from their R&D lab to their customer site, because they're developing all the software, but they don't spend much time with the customers, seeing how the customer is currently using their application. And that is very important in our case, in the medical field, because they have to spend times in the hospitals, and they have to spend times with the radiologist to see how he's using the application. And then there are other things. They are meeting with, our partners, the university, other research labs, and also meeting with, for example, competitors or customers from our competitors. And that is something that you have to push yourself to do that. So this is the first part. The first part is to generate a lot of ideas. The second part is to funnel those ideas. So like a sales funnel, you put every ideas in a funnel, and then you have to refine. You have to define those ideas, You have to define some specific innovation criteria that you think are good for your company, because you have to find how to choose from them. So you get, first you refine them, because there are a lot of ideas that are coming in that it's a good idea, but it's 3 words, and when you try to define this, it's just 3 words, and there is no it's just a concept. There is nothing besides it. So you have to define that, and then you have to get feedback from people. And what we use very much and very often at Telomere is feedback from top innovative users. But it's not every users. It's innovative users that we go and see, and we talk with them about those ideas, and they give their feedback. And then also the opinion, we take very early in the process the opinion from our sales team, because we know that it's very difficult to sell, and it might be very difficult to sell innovation as well. And if your sales team is not motivated to sell, well, there is no point in trying to build features or new products that the sales team is not going to sell.
Right.
In our business, we really have to sell. It's long sales process. It's selling to hospitals and clinics, so it's not selling on internet and you just put one-click shopping button on your website. It doesn't work like that. So you the second part is really all those ideas. You have to put them in a funnel, refine them, define them, and see which one are the top ones. And top, that is, you have to define your own criteria to do that. And the third part is prototyping those ideas, because when you've selected them, you prototype them. Well, in our case, we prototype them, and we try to build small prototypes to show what the ideas is in real life. And for instance, we have 2 major trade shows that we are going to every year. One in France and one in the States. And we try to build prototypes and to show them on our booth at the trade show to as many people as possible. Customers, prospects, customers from competitors, for example, and we try to get them their feedback, and everyone can vote on those prototypes and can give the feedback. So we really have we really try to show things to people before finishing a product. So the last few years we've been building this innovation cycle, and it kind of works for us because we've ended up with a 5-year development roadmap with a lot of ideas, and then when you end up with ideas for the next 5 years, there are 2 ways that you can see this. You can either be pessimistic and say, "Fuck, we have 5 years of work. we will never be able to do that. We're in deep shit." Or the optimist guy, he will think, "Well, a lot of great opportunities we have. We have such many ideas to change the world, so let's do it." And usually the optimist also has to be very open, because if you have already at that time 5 years of development ahead, well, in the coming months you'll get new ideas, and you have to be open as well to new ideas, even if you were packed for the next 5 years.
Right.
Your roadmap needs to be very very open and can change from time to time. So even if you have main directions, well, it must be open as well. So that's what we do, or we try to do at least.
From my understanding, it's a little bit like this trend in design thinking, which is very user-centered based, trying to gather as much as possible information from your clients, from your users, and then try to select the most promising one.
Yeah, that's correct. And well, do you need the products need to be customer driven or not? Of course, they have to be customer driven, because you have to think about your customer, but they have to be more than that, I think. Ideas really must come from everywhere, and customers are one great example, but not the only example. You have your partners, you have your prospects, you have your competitive customers, you have everyone at your company, And also you have your friends and family, because when you start building a business, well, your friends, your family, they are very important as well to provide you with ideas. So you should really, if you want to generate as many ideas as possible, you should really talk about what you do to everyone you meet. Every single opportunity might lead to one great idea that no one has never have think of. And that's very important. So customer-driven innovation is one part, but it's not the only part. And for example, when I got your email and to prepare the interview, I googled in customer-driven innovation, and you get two types of results in Google. You get the first result, all those first results in the first pages that are customer-driven innovation. It's very good. See how we do it at our company. You can buy tons of books about customer-driven innovation, and then you also get some results about which are beware of the customer as the source of innovation. So which one is true? Well, you might think, well, if the first pages is about customer-driven innovation, I'll just end my search on the first page of Google. That might be true, but I think that both are true, because you have to use customer-driven innovation, and you have to use all the rest. And then it's very important when you use a customer-driven innovation to know your customers, because for example, for our company and for our software, we have different type of users. Some are exceptional at providing great idea for minor improvements, because they're using the software every day, and they will just give you a great idea to simplify something. It's not really innovative, but it's great because it makes your product much better. And then there is the other type of users that are really exceptional at seeing what is the next big thing in your software or in your business or in your organization, and those are very important users as well. And it's your job to know your customers, because if you go and talk about innovation to the customers that are used to improvements, they usually what they give as feedback is no, don't do that. Too much. It's too complicated. You don't want to spend so much time on this. And if you go talk about minor improvements to those innovative users, well, then you also get the answer. Why don't you do something more innovative? Just do small improvements. It's not very interesting. So they all have. There is only one thing in common in this answer is you need to talk about what you do. You need to share. You need to observe. You need to spend time with customers and with other people. That's the only thing that you can do to get as many ideas as possible.